Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. I don't even know if that's how I just started out. I was just like swishing water in my mouth just now because I have two drinks, coffee, and then I have water. Usually I have like hot lemon water, but I didn't have time to do that. And I just happen to have coffee. Oh, anyways, welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Get in here. I'm live today, and I'm excited because I have Rob back with me. It's kind of like a forlorn, something. I don't know. Not knowing what to do, but Rob has decided to jump on board this Tuesday to assist me. So he's behind the scenes. Rob Hicks with Hicks Video. Always just awesome. If you ever need video help, video editing, video conferencing, to hold a big Zoom meeting, he does all sorts of stuff. Rob is very active in this whole world. He's produced for a lot of big names in the conservative movement. And it's just awesome to have him as a friend and a producer. So thank you, Rob. Thank you. Okay, let me just see who's here. Let me just get on here and say, let's see here. Do we have people? Let me see. I'm live. Okay, hey. Okay, Nancy from Pennsylvania, what's up? When do you have time to pray for our country? I don't know what that means, Rosalind. Maybe she's mad. I don't know. I pray all the time. I was actually on a prayer call earlier this morning praying for our country. Hello, Longmont, Colorado. New Jersey, what's up? I know the president is going to be speaking shortly, so I will not be offended if you're like, we like you, but the president's talking, so we'll catch the rerun of the show. Totally fine. I get it. I won't be offended. It's totally okay. You can do that. But I wanted to get on here. I did go on a little sabbatical for a couple weeks, and then I came back last Tuesday saying, hey, what's up? And then last week some news broke. So I'm going to talk about post office, DNC. What else do I have here? Unity, the talking point of unity in the DNC. And then I want to dive into the FBI exposure there with Klein-Smith and what that guilty plea means. So you guys can dissect that and be able to relay that to family and friends that have their heads in the sand and have no idea what our FBI, CIA, our intelligence communities unlawfully did to our president and the Trump campaign. So I think that's really important. I think a lot of people don't have any idea. They have no clue whatsoever. So post office, let's talk about the post office drama, because people are like, they keep talking about the post office and they're going to not be able to get our ballots in, and Trump's trying to steal the election by taking away mailboxes. Stop. Oh my gosh, stop. This is exactly like the Russia stuff, guys. This is the whole point of this. I'm telling you right now. The whole point of this. Do you guys remember that they started talking? They started talking about mail-in. We have to do mail-in ballots. Oh my gosh, we might not be able to go up to the polls back in March. Okay, this is just when the coronavirus was really starting to come into play. It was making headline news. Suddenly it was like, oh my gosh, this has become a pandemic. And suddenly, in the middle of March, we have people talking about mail-in voting and not being able to go to the polls in November. And that's got to alert you as a human to think, why are we talking about the November election in March right now? Let's focus on the virus. Let's get this thing under control. And then when we get closer to that time, we'll talk about it. But no, they started this way out because this has all been calculated. It's all been planned. This is their agenda. Their agenda is to push for mail-in ballot. And then, oh my gosh, they know the United States Postal Service is on their team. Let's just break this down really quick. Political contributions from the United States Postal Service overwhelmingly favor the Democrats by 73% to 27% Republicans. Okay, they know that the top people in the United States Postal Service do not like Trump. This is a union. This is how unions operate, right? Unions tend to be Democrat. They just do. I have family and friends that have been part of unions and they just tended to vote Democrat. That's just what happens. And then these unions give a ton of money to the Democrat Party. So the Democrat Party knows this. I mean, they know who their contributors are. They know that, hey, if we can get, some kind of hype going at the United States Post Office, push for mail-in ballot, then we start to attack Trump on him trying to fix the United States Postal Service. Because let's talk about this really quick, okay? The United States Postal Service, horribly run business. What business is just okay with losing billions of dollars a year? Like, if you were a normal business and you just lost billions of dollars each year, you would no longer be in existence. You'd be gone. People would no longer be able to buy from you, to use your services because you're bankrupt. Okay? This is what the United States Postal Service has done. Since Amazon came into play, like everybody started buying stuff online, everything like that, like Amazon started using the United States Postal Service, but the United States Postal Service did not start upping their charges, right? So they're sending out all these packages, but they're not increasing because they're not increasing their value, their worth. They should be charging more for their product so they don't slip into the red zone of losing tons and tons of money every single year. Well, they're like, hey, we want more funding. Well, if you're a businessman like President Trump is, you're not going to be like, yeah, let's give you more money so you can just throw it away, because you're not fixing the problem. You always fix the problem. That's conservatism, going to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is they're losing millions of dollars each year, and they're not fixing the root of the problem. The root of the problem is they need to charge more for their packaging in order to make money off of their product. It's very simple. In 2019, okay, their revenues dropped by 30%. This is in the midst of economic boom right now. I mean, companies are just jamming, making tons of money. It was a beautiful moment in 2019. I mean, the economy was soaring. Businesses were thriving, unemployment record low. It was just beautiful. And the United States Postal Service losing money because they're choosing to. They're choosing to lose money. They're choosing not to operate effectively and efficiently. And you're not going to get more funding until you fix the problem. Regardless of all this, okay? Regardless of all this, they have actually come out and said, we still can operate and get the ballots in the rightly timed manner. So the Democrats are blowing this up into a huge issue, and this is it. I'm going to tell you. The whole goal is I think they know Trump's going to win. I really do. I think that they know Trump's going to win. I think they're freaking out, and this will be their Russia again. Their Russia story, Russia collusion. It'll be Trump's handling with the United States Postal Service. They'll bring in these top people at the United States Postal Service that are raging Democrats that hate the president. And, they'll have hearings just to draw this out. So let's call it now. Let's see it for what it is. And let's call them out on it. And if you do happen to be in a state where you do mail in ballots, Colorado does do this. And this has been a system that's been operating for years in Colorado. To suddenly have states that have never had any kind of mail-in ballots suddenly mail in their ballots, it's asking for complete and total catastrophe, okay? I had to identify myself. They specifically found me. They found my address. I had ID to get my ballot sent to me. All of this was done. So it's all specifically set out. So there can't really be cheating, and you can actually follow your ballot online with the barcode and everything like that. I still don't even trust the Colorado system, right? So I actually deliver my ballot every single time I vote to my voting assigned voting place. Okay. I don't put it in the mail. I don't trust anyone touching my ballot. Okay. Don't touch my ballot. So I take it, I drop it in, I make sure it's there, and then I follow online exactly that it was received and it was counted correctly. These other states don't have that. They don't have that system in play. They don't have that process. When the Democrats say they want mail-in voting, they literally mean mailing out ballots to every address, okay? And then just collecting them. If you can't see the complete and total opportunity for fraud in that, without any kind of ID showing who voted, barcodes, the confirmation of their vote, that system is not in play. But that's what the Democrats want. They want this because they want to cheat. And then when it doesn't go their way, they want to use this to hold hearings in the House after Trump is elected in January. That's their goal. So let's just call it for what it is. So just ignore all the U.S. Postal Service talk. It's a bunch of drama and it's all whipped up. So, okay. The Democrat National Convention. Who watched? Did you watch? Let me read who watched. Did anybody watch? I know I did a satire yesterday talking about how no one's watching. Don't watch. But I did actually have to watch a couple minutes because I knew I was going to be talking to you guys today, and I had to be somewhat informed on the Democrat National Convention. Oh my gosh. First of all, they led it with Eva Longoria. Is that her name? Eva Longoria? Or is it Eva? I think it was Eva Longoria. Yeah, Eva Longoria. Okay. Hollywood, completely disconnected, millionaire, living in her Hollywood Hills mansion. I'm going to tell you how bad it is out there, everyone. Let's hear from you guys how bad it is. Hollywood is so incredibly disconnected. I mean, I would be actually offended if I watched this and thought that Hollywood had any empathy whatsoever for me, flyover state mom, middle class, living this thing out when they're living nothing out in their mansions, completely disconnected from the rest of the country. Okay. I lived in Hollywood, worked for a very well-known celebrity. And these people don't know how to flush their toilets. Okay. I'm serious. They don't know how to answer their phones. They don't know how to microwave food. They are incompetent people that have absolutely no regard for anybody from Los Angeles all the way to New York City. If you live in between those places, they don't care about you at all. And they don't even know anything about middle America. They live in bubbles, literally bubbles. They party together. And then they talk about how bad conservatives and Republicans are. They're completely disconnected. They feel extremely guilty for making all the money they've made. And so they think that if they throw their money out a little bit here and there, that it rids them of that guilt. It's gross. It's gross. So I thought that was interesting that they decided to take a Hollywood approach, having some little Hollywood starlet, MC this event. Immediately, if you're like a middle-class mom, it's like, I don't know what's going on with my kids. I don't know if we're going to school. We started school. I don't know if they're going to call school 2 weeks from now because COVID breaks out in the school. I don't know. And then here they have Eva Longoria telling you it's just everything's going to be fine, but everything's horrible. Everything's fine, but it's also horrible because Trump's horrible. Orange Man is bad. So I don't know. That's not relatable. Just like Kamala Harris, not relatable. So, they continue to do this where you're like, I don't. Okay. So that happened. And then the whole theme, guys, was unity and empathy, because Trump is so divisive. He's so divisive. I mean, I can't even turn my television on without him saying something so divisive. And his tweets, it's just so, I hear that, right? And that I can't even begin to tell you how much that bothers me, okay? Because if you want to talk divisive, I want to talk about the Bible burning that you guys have not come out against. I want to talk about the church burning that you have not come out against. I want to talk about the statues of Jesus and Mary and other saints that you've toppled over and not come out against. I want to talk about the abolitionist statues that have been toppled over that you've not come out against. I want to talk about the shutdown of free speech, the immediately targeting and calling people racist that don't believe in your ideology. That's divisive. I want to talk about your inability to accept the 2016 elections and so forth, and so unable to accept the elections that you launched a fake, just completely false Russia collusion investigation for 2.5 years. You misled the American people, and then you tried to get Trump on a phone call to impeach him. And now all of this Black Lives Matter, which is really led by Marxism, all of this leading to, I mean, all of this has been divisive, and it's all been whipped up and spun up by the Democrat Party. So you want to talk divisive? You guys need to look in the mirror. You are the epitome of division. You have torn this country apart. It is disgusting. And I could get personal here because I have family and I have friends that have treated me terribly, absolutely terribly. And they're the same people that claim tolerance. You're not tolerant. You're not tolerant at all. You are the most intolerant. You are unable to allow other people to think differently than you think. And you've sown division. That's divisive. Talk about unity. Listen to Michelle Obama up there telling us to have empathy, telling us to be unified. You guys are the dividers. It's disgusting how much you've divided this country. The people voted in 2016, like it or not, and we voted for President Trump. And you've not been able to accept it. That's divisive. Talk about unity. Let's talk about unity. Your party has gone full socialist commie. I will not unify with communism. I will not unify with a party that thinks it's okay to tear a baby that's in the womb limb by limb apart in a slow, painful murder. I will not unify with that. That woman right there, divisive. Divisive. Don't talk about empathy. You have no empathy for babies in the womb. Because that's a beating heart. That's a life. And you say it's okay to kill it. Get out of here. Just get out of here with that. Sorry. I get a little fired up. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Hey, Jenna, what's up? It's repulsive. I totally agree. And they blame Trump, which is so twisted. Twisted. Hey, Deborah, I see you agree. Yes. Roy, right on. It's horrible, and my stomach turns when they talk about unity. My stomach turns when they talk about Trump is divisive, because they're always flipping it. Do you guys see that? They're always flipping it. Whatever they're accusing conservatives and Republicans and Trump of, they're guilty of. It happens every single time. This is how. Remember. I mean, this has been since the beginning of his presidency. They blame him for something, and then we end up finding out that actually they're the ones that are guilty of it. The whole Russia collusion thing, that Russia collusion crap, okay, I'm going to go into details on this in a second, but the dossier was, it's projection. That's right, Rob. They always project. The dossier that they got, that they used to illegally spy on the president, was Russian disinformation. It was Russian, right? They colluded with Russia. They always are projecting. They're always, the Republicans and Trump are doing this. They're doing it. When they claim racism, they're the party of racism. They literally, this last summer, they toppled over statues of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson because they owned slaves, right? Then what did they just go turn and do last week? They just picked a vice president nominee for the Democrat Party who is a direct descendant of slave owners. Like, you can't make this up. Kamala Harris descended from slave owners. Her family ancestors owned slaves. So here they are tearing down statues because somebody might have owned slaves, and then they go pick a candidate that owns slaves. It's nuts. Rob's like, wow. I'm just like, I'm sorry, but I know you guys, like, you probably feel the same frustration because it's like, get out of here. And then I have people that can't see it. And I'm like, oh, like, open your eyes. Anyways, so the DNC, talk unity. Get out of here with your unity. It's laughable. Get out of here with that. I'm not even gonna just stop it. Okay, so I do want to go into this really quick because this just fires me up. And sometimes mom and dads are too busy. I get it. I'm busy. A lot going on. My kids are starting school here in a couple of weeks. I've got one of my daughters already started school. There's a lot going on. So news drops on Friday last week that Kevin Kleinsmith, and people are like, who's Kevin Kleinsmith? Like, I don't even, like, who's Kevin? Kevin who? Okay, Kevin Kleinsmith was a guy that was on this Trump-Russia investigation thing, right? FBI guy. He, and I think this is a plea deal because I think he's giving more, and this is just a bet, okay? I could be wrong, but I think he took a plea deal. I think that this guy has a lot more information that he's sharing with Durham. Durham is a guy that's running, he's running the origination of how this Russia collusion investigation started. John Durham. So he was appointed by Attorney General Barr to look into it, to investigate it, find out like how this thing started, how this whole thing went down. So Durham gets Kleinsmith to take a guilty plea on messing with evidence to get warrants to spy on Trump. Okay. He pleads guilty. This is a big deal, but nobody really even talks about it. It's like, okay, this is a big deal. Okay. So let's just break this down. I'm going to read to you guys for a second here. Okay. The FBI intentionally withheld evidence that completely cleared Carter Page. Okay. He was a Trump campaign advisor of any collusion with Russia in order to obtain a warrant to spy on him and the Trump campaign. So let's just think about this. They had evidence. Okay. They had evidence. They withheld the evidence. So they had evidence that Carter Page had nothing to do with Russia. Like this guy, he's like, no Russia involvement whatsoever. They know this. And they're like, let's just hold it. Let's just hold it. Nobody needs to know. And we'll get a warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. So they withhold evidence, like completely exonerating Carter Page. Okay. But that's not it. The FBI also altered the evidence. So they began to alter emails, alter evidence. So you think that the FBI, so the FBI didn't just withhold evidence, but they altered evidence. They messed with it so that they can continue to spy illegally on the Trump campaign. Now everybody talks about Carter Page. They just were spying on Carter Page. That's not how it works. Once you get a warrant to spy on somebody, right? Okay, so they're spying on Carter Page. They're reading his emails. They're listening to his phone calls. They're like, okay, the minute Carter talks to somebody else, they can jump and start listening to whoever Carter was talking to or whoever Carter was emailing. So they jumped. This was a whole reason they got in there so they could jump and spy on the entire Trump campaign. Now, the question is, who made the call? Who made the call? Because the FBI is running this by somebody, right? Or did the FBI just go rogue? You've got to be an idiot to think the FBI just decided to start spying on the Trump campaign without anybody saying, hey, do it. Somebody made that call. Okay, but that's not it, okay? The FBI, the NSA, and the CIA all enlist the foreign intelligence community to spy on Carter Page and George Papadopoulos, who was also an advisor to the Trump campaign. All three agencies then coordinate to strategically leak info to the press to promote the narrative that Trump is an agent of Russia. Like they start leaking this information to the press. So the press starts writing stories that Trump is a Russian agent. Now I have family and I have friends that literally they thought Trump was a Russian agent. I remember reading some of their Facebook posts. Like they're like, you just wait until they walk Trump out of the White House in cuffs because he is a Russian agent. You just wait, Rachel. You're going to be so wrong. Who's wrong? Who's wrong? You are completely and totally played. Okay. So Trump obviously knows none of this is true. He knows he's not a Russian agent. Okay. And that he's being set up. So he fires the director, the FBI director, James Comey. Comey then leaks the information to the New York Times in order to force the acting AG appointed to the special counsel in order to get a special counsel appointed. So they appoint Mueller, right? He quickly and easily realizes that there is no Russia collusion. Mueller knew that right off, right? So he gets appointed. They fired the FBI director. Then, what's his face stepped out, who lost his Senate bid. What's his name? Do you remember him, Rob? Oh gosh, I cannot. I'm drawing a blank. But he was, somebody say his name. Alabama guy, Southern accent, former senator. Anyways, so he steps out, right? He's like, oh, I'm not going to get involved in this. Which just completely was the dumbest thing you could ever do, because it allowed the deep state to work their way in. So the deep state works their way in and they get Mueller appointed. Mueller knows nothing, no Russia collusion took place. He knows it, but he drags it out. He drags it really nicely far out, just keeps dragging it all the way through the 2018 election. How convenient. How convenient. Then the 2000 election, he drags it out for almost over 2 years. Okay. So then the investigation finds that there's no obstruction of justice. And this is right after 2018, where 2018 people were like, oh my gosh, Trump is a Russian agent. So we lost a lot of seats in the 2018 election, right? We lost, but they did this on purpose. If you can't see it, all of this is political. Okay. So then Trump gives the Mueller camp everything. And he never claimed executive privilege. Think about that. He never took executive privilege. I totally would have done that. Okay. So then, the midterms elections happen when the GOP barely holds on to the Senate. Bill Barr is confirmed as the AG and the Mueller investigation finally comes to an end. Okay. So that's just a little while ago. Then Mueller gives his report to the U.S. House of Representatives in July 24th, 2019. And it is the greatest scandal in history that ever occurred. No, it wasn't Roy Moore, Rob. He was AG for a short time. Oh, gosh. You guys know who I'm talking about. Sessions. Jeff Sessions. Thank you. Who said that? Thank you, Wendy. Gosh, I should have known that. Just totally. Okay. So as Sessions steps out, Mueller's appointed. He drags it out through the 2018 election. We lose House seats. This is all planned. Finally, we get AG Barr in there. And thank God, AG Barr appoints Durham. So now Durham is now doing all of this investigation. He gets Kleinsmith to admit to something. I think there's a plea deal behind that. I think he's giving them more information. And then we have this huge pandemic hit, and then lockdowns, and then they shut down our economy. And then they initiate a whole Black Lives Matter nuts craziness. Now, when I say Black Lives Matter, that is not against Black lives whatsoever. I totally support Black lives. I support every life because I'm a Christian and Jesus died for all life. What I'm coming against here is the Black Lives Matter Marxist movement run by Marxists. I mean, they're self-avowed communists. They've said it themselves. So I'm against that because I'm against communism, because communism is evil. Communism has killed over 100 million people in the last 100 years. Fact. So don't support the Black Lives Matter Marxist movement. So we've got all of this going on right now. And now it's all about mail-in ballots. And this is all political, people. It's all political. I hope you can see it. I'm sure you can. I mean, I know the people that follow conservative Momma, you guys are probably some even more informed than I am. I'll get messages from you guys, emails from you guys, and you're informing me. I mean, this is a group effort to uncover the truth. And that's what this is about. At the end of the day, it's all about the truth. That's what I want. I want the truth. I really do. I crave it. And I think it's that's something that happens when you become a Christian, is because you really do that's your light goes on. And a relationship with Jesus is just, it's the truth. And when the truth hits you, you begin to hunger for it in every aspect of your life. You begin to hunger for it with everything. I want the truth. At the end of the day, I want the truth. Now, sometimes the truth will upset me. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, that's not what I thought. or man, that really threw me, or I'm going to be wrong on this one. But that doesn't matter. What matters is the truth. The truth literally liberates you. The truth sets you free. It really does. When you can see it, when you see the truth, you don't have fear. Like you really don't. You can't have fear because the truth sets you free. And there's no freedom in fear. Fear paralyzes you. Fear cripples you. Freedom and liberty in Jesus literally sets you free. And there's so much freedom in the truth. And so that's our goal, right? That's our goal on Conservative Momma. That's our goal just as individuals, is to find the truth, to seek it out, to hunger for it, to want it. Regardless of where it leads you, you want the truth. And I was just on a prayer call this morning because a lot of people are like, they were kind of discouraged. And, you know, when you look at the polls and you look at like what's going on and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know, like what, don't look at the physical right now. Okay. Don't get caught up in the physical. Our eyes are on Jesus. Our eyes are bringing kingdom to earth. Kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. If it's not in the kingdom, if it's not in heaven, it's not supposed to be here on earth. And the people that take authority and dominion over it are the people that operate with Jesus living inside of them. Okay. You have authority over a lot of this junk that you see right now. And, I was just, so one of the people on my prayer call this morning, she said some of the darkest days, right, were when Jesus was buried. Okay. When Jesus died, it got really dark, right? And it can kind of look dark out there right now, can it? Like sometimes you look out there and you're like, man, it seems like all hell has literally broken loose. And you're like, ah, and it looks dark. Okay. But in the midst of the darkness, after Jesus died and they took him down and they put his body and they wrapped him up and they put him in a tomb, that was when God was moving. In the darkest of the dark, that's when the spiritual heavenlies were warring, because they were warring for Jesus to overcome the grave. They were warring for Jesus to conquer death. So in the midst of that darkness, you have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what's happening in the heavenlies, and you have no idea what's about to break loose. And so I just believe that we're supposed to start to pray that we're start to pray for just, I'm telling you, the impossible. I'm believing that we have such an incredible red wave that we wipe out any ability for the House of Representatives to hold a hearing. I'm believing that America speaks so loudly and so clearly on November 3rd that we shut down any plans of the evil. We shut down any plans that would try to steal this. So I want you guys just to begin to pray for the impossible. Begin to pray for just a landslide, okay? And that's what I want us to start to do. So I'm just going to believe God that for miracles in the midst of the darkness is when God is on the move, and he is on the move. I'm believing that we are going to start to see miracles take place. I believe that we're going to see a move of repentance take place across our nation. I'm believing that we're going to see revival take place across our nation, because we got to get hungry. And I'm hungry, man. I want more of God, because the more I look at the world, the more I realize how lost and deceived and confused they are. And I'm not. I'm not. And so the only reason I'm not is because of Jesus, because of my relationship with him, because of time spent in the word, because of prayer calls, because of time spent in prayer on my own. Like, that's why. So I want to encourage you guys. I want to encourage you guys to pray. Even if it's just for 1 to 2 minutes a day, begin to pray for our president, pray for this nation, and pray for victory on November 3rd. So that's what I wanted to say. Thanks for I'm going to sign out now. But I'm thankful for you guys. I'm blessed by you guys. I do want to mention my supporters. I'm so thankful for you guys. I could not do this without you. My Patreon, Facebook supporters. I also do speaking of events, and I would love to join any kind of speaking event that you guys might have. I'm ready and willing. And also Rob and I, we collaborate on doing things online as well. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And go get them. Just keep speaking the truth, guys. We'll talk soon. Bye, guys.